Listen, we got obviously running backs and receivers are like the elite positions. Those are the people that we're always looking at. But quarterbacks and tight ends too. And it's a little more difficult, I would say, for quarterbacks because we know kind of who the guys are at quarterback. And then tight end has just been a graveyard, literally, this entire season where we could probably talk about buy low for like 90% of the tight ends there are in the league. But we got to get dialed in on a couple of different ones. So let's go quarterback first. Pete, who are you looking at quarterback buy lows opportunities?
All right, so quarterback, I'm looking at my dog, none other than, and he's not really my dog, but
he your dog, man.
You know, he's running a team that I like. I happen to own a lot of equity in this fantasy game. But my buy low right now is Kirk Cousins, right? So, you know, I've always been one of those guys that have been saying, you know, Kirk Cousins is more a product of a system versus like the system. You know what I'm saying? Like he was doing good in Minnesota, but he's got a good system around in Atlanta now too. And he just hasn't been doing well. He only has 4 touchdowns on the year. Two games so far under 20 points, 2 games under 15 points, only 1 20-point effort. I think that you want to buy low on Kirk Cousins at this moment right now because he's not in the top 15 quarterbacks. He's like floating around top 20. I just think that this is a situation.
Do you believe that Kirk Cousins is cooked? Because a lot of people think because of the Achilles injury, he can't push the ball downfield. Or maybe they think that he doesn't have the same, you know what I'm saying? Like you're buying a different Kirk Cousins in years past. Even if you thought he was a system QB, that was a different player than we're seeing right now. And also the team has another option, Michael Penix, which like if things don't go well for Kirk, you're dropping him at that point. Like you're not able to even hold him. You're not worried about that at all?
No, I'm not worried about this team because under good competition, this team has showed flashes, right? They came out and they beat Philly in the end in the game-winning drive that Kirk Cousins led. So it's, you know, the injury thing is a good thing to bring up. I think it's more so the fact that this team hasn't had time to gel. Like they didn't play him the preseason. It's a brand new team, an entire new cast. I really feel that as they gel together, you can see the past 2 weeks they've been making an effort to get the number 1 wide receiver there to get him
Drake
involved.
London.
Yeah, Drake London to get him involved, and it looks like it's paying off for Kirk's value. So I think if you get him right now, a lot of the people are thinking, oh well, he's injured. Oh well, they're not doing as well. But trust and believe it's going, and their schedule opens up. Their schedule actually gets a lot easier as well. So it's a matter of gelling, and it's a matter of just them knowing each other as a team. It's an entirely new team, new fucking system. Just chill. He's gonna bounce back and probably land within the top 8 to 10 quarterbacks.
Damn, that's heavy. We'll see. Like, I think that's a heavy number to say, but like, I do believe in a Kirk Cousins bounce back, especially in the second half. You may have a few weeks. The only thing I would say is like, if you're in a single QB league, it doesn't seem like much of a buy because of the quarterbacks that are out there. I still think he's more of a desperation play in single QB leagues, but in super flex leagues, I do think he's a good QB2 that you might be able to get for cheaper than you will in about 4 or 5 weeks. Like this is a player not just this week, but I think over the next few weeks, you're going to have buying opportunities. The minute Kirk Cousins does look like Kirk, though, it's a wrap. Like there's no chance in hell you getting that value.
Yeah, but check this out. Like the opportunity may be after Eno because Eno is a solid, strong defense. But after after that they got Tampa, then they got Carolina, then they got Seattle, who is trust me, the most fakest top defense in the league. Trust when I say that. Yeah, and that's not just me being a Niner fan, bro. Trust me. So he's gonna cook, bro. He's gonna cook, man. You want to get him before he cooks. So yes, yeah.
We'll see on Kirk Cousins. A player you probably drafted a little earlier than that, Anthony Richardson. We talk about buy low, and buy low is scary sometimes. It's scary because you're taking the chance that you're right on a player more so than their current value is. And Anthony Richardson has had a game. You stop sniffing your nose, Brad. He's had a game where he looked elite, right? Chucking the ball downfield. We're seeing Alec Pierce. He's making the crazy off-target throw. So it's like when off-platform throw, excuse me. Then we see 2 dubs. 2 duds, bro. 12 and 7 points, which, like, as a starting quarterback, that's terrible. You can get like wide receiver 3s that put up better numbers than that in Superflex. And it's like, where do we assess his value? Is the passing game that much of a hindrance to his season-long value? I don't think so. We haven't seen many rushing touchdowns from him this year, just one. We haven't seen a game. We've only seen one game where he's thrown over 10 completions. You have to trust the quarterback. You have to trust the scenario in this case. And it's not like this is the only time we've ever seen Anthony Richardson. We saw him last year too. And he wasn't a guy that was putting up 12, 10 fantasy points. He was putting up 21, 24, 17, 29. Like, he was putting up massive points before his injuries. I think Anthony Richardson is a player that can utilize more than the passing game to be elite for your team. I think Shane Steichen is the type of coach to get him involved and get him on the right path. I trust the system. I trust Anthony Richardson to be better. Slow start to the season doesn't mean your value's in the crater. Give me Anthony Richardson as a bounce back candidate.
Yeah, but damn though, dog. Like, come on, bro. Like, Anthony Richardson last year, when we were talking about specifically passing, like, this is what it seems like to me, because we know his value is in the live arm, but his value is primarily in the running, right? 4 rushing attempts for 37 yards, 8 rushing attempts for 24 yards. What that tells me is that people are kind of scheming. They're game planning for that. They're game planning to say, we're not going to let this guy beat us in the rush. We're going to see if this guy can pick apart this defense through the air. So far, he hasn't been able to do that, right? So I doubt he's going to do that against Pitt this week. So, like, when you're thinking about, I know you had big aspirations with Anthony Richardson in the preseason.
I did.
Where realistically, and I'm talking about realistically, do you see him as?
I think I had him. So my potential for him was like he could be VQB1, and I don't really see a world where that happens. I don't think the volume is going to be there passing unless something just clicks for him, which in the middle of a season is highly unlikely until it's the second half of the year. Mm-hmm. So I don't see QB1 ceiling anymore. I think on a weekly basis we could see it. I think the inconsistent play will leave him more in like the 5 to 8 range when it's all said and done. And right now he's a QB15. And I think you can get him right now outside of like top 10 quarterback value, especially after this week, right? He plays Pittsburgh this week. We talked about timing is everything. He might look really bad against Pittsburgh, or they might figure some things out against the blitz, get him some checkdowns, get him some stuff closer to the line of scrimmage. He's got to prove he's more accurate. Has to, because I don't think teams will respect him until that point. But if I could buy low on that kind of player right now that does have the QB1 ceiling on any given week, especially with the rushing upside, why not do it when people are panicking the most? And like I said, this is you probably have a week and a half buy low window.
Yeah, you do. And if teams are gonna, it's tough because if he's gonna have to prove he's more accurate, who he's gonna have to lean on, man? Michael Pittman, which probably is another buy low.
The Pitt man.
Pitt man.
What about tight end, bro? Obviously, tight end's a little easier when we talk buy low. Like I'm probably gonna have I'm probably gonna have the most like easiest tight end buy low. But who you got, man? Sometimes you're a little more savvy to me when it comes to tight ends.
Yeah, man. A lot of tight ends you could buy low on. Hey, I'm more likely gonna be the guy. Don't even ask, bro. Isaiah Likely is going to be most likely to be the guy. Listen, I've talked about this a lot. It seems like what they're doing is they're trying to figure out who is their guy in the passing game outside of wide receiver, right? Isaiah Likely looks like he's most likely to do that. It looks like he just has a better chemistry. And what I don't like to see is Mark Andrews getting 0 goddamn catches or 0 targets last game. I don't care what the coach says. The coach is going to talk. The coach is going to say a bunch of shit. Likely is the one who has been outproducing. And if they're going to win games, if they're going to get this thing back on track, 1-2 right now, if they're going to get this thing back on track, it's going to be with guys that Lamar trusts. You can no longer use the excuse of, oh, I've had a car crash about a year and a half ago, or this or that. Whoop. You got to put some numbers up, bro. You got to put some numbers up. And I really think Isaiah Likely he just has, looking at their stats aside, not just the bigger games, but he just looks like the moxie. He has the like, yeah, throw it to me. I'm gonna go get it. He has, okay, they got us this time, but we're gonna see him again. I don't see none of that type of talk from Mark Andrews. So I have zero reason to think that he just shares the same type of identity as the rest of that team. And as far as where I think Isaiah Likely is going to end up, he has top 5 tight end potential, bro. I'm gonna be. Nah, man, I'm here, bro. I'm here. Bro, there is not one good tight end right now that has been consistent. There's just not one. So a top 5 is not far-fetched.
Hell no. I
mean, what you got to say about that?
Man, he a Mark. That's what I got to say. Mark Andrews is the real one, though. Listen, like, Andrews, we know what he is. And yeah, he's had a slow start to the year, but like the team has talked about getting him involved. They didn't say he needed him so far. They needed him in the first 2 games when they lost. But I think, listen, if I'm going to buy a guy, it's the guy that they pay, and it's the guy that typically has had the involvement. And I think this goes against the principles, P. We talked about going against the principles. Isaiah Likely goes against the principles. You go get the Mark Andrews after they struggle for 3 weeks. That's the type of player that you believe in the bounce back, the type that has the package that we've seen for so long. Like we already know who he is. So I think Isaiah Likely, who had a strong week, that was the guy you picked up off of waivers, you spent money on. Why are you going to invest so heavily on him when Mark Andrews is the guy you spent your draft pick on, your 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round pick on? I believe in it, and I think there's a big thing that's going to happen this weekend. It's either Mark Andrews looks the part, and we're like, yes, Mark Andrews is back, or he has another game with under 10 routes run, and we're like, fuck, he got to go. He ran like 4 routes last week.
Oh, bro. God. I mean, you can't call Isaiah Likely a mark when they was not marking him in the passing game. You know, Mark Andrews, these name flips is crazy. But but I'm gonna tell you like this, man. It's telling, because it goes against, like, how you're supposed to look at, how you're supposed to approach these teams, these trades when you have invested in a draft pick. But just with that being said, all of the other things just point to them favoring Isaiah Likely, because like you said, they needed these players. They need all their offensive players. They're 1-2. You know what I mean? They almost collapsed in Dallas last week had they not been, running the rock. They're 1-2. They need these players to perform. Where has Mark been? Bro, 10 routes run. Where the hell is Mark been?
On the belt carton right now. Where is Mark Andrews?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, so I really think Isaiah Likely, like I said, it goes back to just the identity of the team. It goes back to who they are, who's going to be up on that press conference talking some, we're going to get them back later. You know what I'm saying? Like the quality of targets. Yeah, give me Isaiah Likely. I think he's going to be the one moving forward.
We can't do a buy low episode without a gimme pick. This is one of the biggest gimmies, I would say, at tight end. I probably could talk about Mark Andrews here, and I think I'd be flipping a coin with him and Isaiah Likely at this point heading into the weekend. But the one certainty that's been in our fantasy lineups at the tight end position over the last decade has been one Travis Kelce. And yes, if there's a player that people are probably panicking on because you took him first, you have to take the name. You're expecting a certain amount of performance. And we see a guy in Rashee Rice completely taking over this Kansas City offense. It's tough if you have Travis Kelce right now because you're depending on a 10 to 12 type performance almost every single week, just given the fact of who he is and where you took him in the drafts. And they ain't been there. And the team that took him probably use a 3rd or 4th round pick on him. More than likely, they struggling. Tell me, I don't think we've seen a big decrease in like his snaps on the field, which was one of the big things. A lot of people are like, oh, he's probably going to be 60, 50% of the snaps. 89, 91, and 77% of the snaps over the first 3 weeks. So that's been there. It just hasn't been the targets, 4, 3, and 5. And according to Pat Mahomes, teams are taking away Travis Kelce right now, which is a big problem. I think this speak out there, this 2,000-yard Rashee Rice that Pat Mahomes is talking, this is an effort to get Kelce going because this offense is going to be a lot harder to stop. I think there's a focused effort on getting Travis Kelce involved against the Los Angeles Chargers this weekend to the tune of like 80 and a touchdown at least. I think that's a floor for him this week. Probably 5, 6 catches, 80 yards and a touchdown. And then by that time, your buy low window for Travis Kelce is gone. I wouldn't pay a premium. I wouldn't pay like a top 3 tight end price, but I would throw a low ball offer at a concerned fantasy manager right now.
I mean, look, his highest output this year was 30, 34 yards.
Mm.
And Travis Kelce is 34 years of age. It's about that time, bro. Let me ask you this.
So he's
I'm not. No, listen. I like that. I mean, he's got a lot of things going for him. Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid offense. He could have been playing decoy, but do you factor in the fact that he's 34 years old, or just his age general? You think that that's catching up to him?
No, if he was playing less, if they were like, oh, he can't play as much, like I don't. That's not what really I look at, because he performed when he was 33. 34 doesn't make a fucking difference to me. Like, it's a year. They do the same shit with Derrick Henry, with all these guys. They're trying to predict the fall off just based on age. And it would be different if he was like maybe running less routes. Or I think the only thing we're seeing here is a changing of the guard, where this was a Travis Kelce-led team by far. And I think now it's a Rashee Rice-led team. And I think that has happened. The passing of the torch has happened. I think that's clear and evident. But I still think Kelsey's going to get involved, and it's just a matter of time before it happens. So that's the owner I'm panicking right there. The one I'm targeting right there is the one that's panicking on his value and thinks, damn, he's done. He's cooked. I'm sending low balls out, bro.
Yeah, it's just one thing, man. Travis Kelce, we know him to have swag. We know him to have, all that shit. But when he comes in, with the style,
Taylor Swift.
He's got the Taylor Swift, the guy's haircut like that. He's just a different person to me. But I mean, with all that being said, it is the easiest buy low. And although he may not be tight end one, I could definitely see top 6, top 7 tight end.
The moral of the story when it comes to buy low early in the season is pounce on panic. You can't spell panic without
yo ass, bro, because he is for patience, and I'm telling you like this. I'm gonna do it like this, man. Scared money don't make no money, boy. Let me tell you, it don't make no money, man. But it is what it is, man. But I like Travis K. He's always gonna be.
Buy low season is here. We will also talk about sell high opportunities here very shortly. For myself, for Prabhat Parmar, we will see y'all on the next one. Peace out, y'all.